Okay, now directly I am starting calls input. Second way, how to create the macro variable by using calls input method. Calls input is here. When we use the percentage let statement, we have created macro variable outside the data step only. Outside, not inside. But how to create a macro variable inside the data step? That is a question. So that purpose will be used the calls input method. By using calls input method, we can create the macro variable inside the data step. Then how to derive it, we'll discuss now. Here, I will write a syntax. We can create the, or we can derive the macro variable inside the data step only. Okay, so I will write a syntax here. So calls input, open one parenthesis, inside this parenthesis give your macro variable. Okay, macro variable name and comma argument only. Argument is nothing but maybe that is a variable or value also. Argument is nothing but a variable or argument is nothing but a value. Your macro variable name must be used inside the single quotes. Don't forget this one. Now here I am using commenting this part. This is also I am commenting. Now above one is a calls input here. You can see first I will go for first percentage let statement. Then I will execute same by using calls input method. For example, data. Here percentage let, okay, var is equal to 14. Then data class set SAS helper dot class where age is equal to 14. Then run it. Prop print data is equal to, my data set name is a class only. Here what is my macro variable here? What is the my macro name? Var. Instead of the 14, can we use ampersand var?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, here I am using ampersand var. If I am submitting this one, what are the values? We can see it in my output window, age values especially.
Only 14 values.
Only 14 values only. Okay. Now only 14, age is a 14. Now you can see here, I have created my macro variable outside the data step or inside the data step by using percentage let statement.
Inside the data.
Inside.
Outside, sir.
Created macro variable outside the data step. Okay.
Outside.
Now I want to create the macro variable inside the data step only. Then how can we do that? So data underscore null underscore. What is the purpose of underscore null underscore here? Anybody? Without deriving the data set, without creating the data set, we can derive the variables only. Last week we have discussed, right? This one?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now here x is equal to 12. Inside the my data, x is my variable, x value is a 12. Okay. Now I want to convert this x into macro variable. Here we can derive the macro variable inside the data step, which means we can take the value. We can take the value from data step only, from data step, and assign to macro variable. So here we can take the value from data step and assign it to macro variable. This is my data step only. Here argument is nothing but maybe a variable, maybe a value also. Now I am using argument is a x here. Now here calls input, directly use calls input, open parenthesis. Here I have used the y comma x only, x. Then anybody please let me know here what is the my macro variable name, what is the argument here? Anybody? As per
Macro variable is y.
Y. Argument is a x. X is a variable here, but sometimes you can pass the instead of the x, you can pass the value also. I mean like this. Okay, here I am passing 11 only, which means this 11 value I am assigning to y macro variable. like that also. But instead of the 11, I am using X only. Now I want to, what is my macro variable here? Y is my macro variable. I want to print this Y macro variable in my log window. Then how can we do that here? How to print the put or percentage put?
Percentage.
Percentage put. Put always we have to use in our base SAS, but this is an advanced SAS macros. We have to use percentage put. Then what is our macro variable here?
Y.
Ampersand Y. If I am using ampersand Y, okay, so now what is the value? You can see it in my log window.
12.
12. Okay, now I am submitting this one. You can see the 12. Ampersand Y is a 12. We have resolved it. Now I will be used this one. You can see data. Okay, data class only. Again, I am submitting set SAS algo class. Okay, where age is equal to. If I am using ampersand Y, then run it. Then anybody please let me know if I am submitting what are my results, age values. We can see it in my output window. Anybody?
Age value is 11.
Age value is 11 or 12? 12. Then finally we can display it in my output window. Age value is a 12, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I am submitting this one. When I submit it, you can see it. Age value is a 12 only. This is one. Okay. Now next one is a. You can see age values only 5 records are there. We have printed only. Next here data underscore null underscore. I am not creating any data set. Here I am using gender is equal. Okay, I am giving M only. M. Gender is equal to M. That is my variable. My variable is a gender. Otherwise, directly you can pass it like this also. Calls input. Okay, call input. Calls input. Open parenthesis. Here I am using my variable is a gender, comma. M is my value. Here I am assigning the argument is a value, not variable. What is the my value? M. M is a one value. I am assigning this M value to gender macro variable. Then run it. If I am submitting percentage put ampersand gender, then what is the value? We can see it in my log window. If I am submitting
M.
M. So we can see it in the log window. You can see the M only. M. Now I want to use this M macro gender macro variable in my data set only. So again I am using the class set SAS output class. Then where sex is equal to, here what I need to use it here. I need only M category here. Anybody?
Ampersand gender.
Ampersand gender. Ampersand gender value is a character or numeric? Anybody?
Double quote characters.
So then we have to use always single quotes or double quotes?
Double quotes.
Double quotes. Don't forget this one. Now I am printing this one. Dot print data is equal to class. Then submit. If I am submitting this one, what are the sex values? We can see it in my output window.
Male.
When I am submitting this one, you can see only 10 records are there. Those are the male category. Okay, this is. So I have created my macro variable by using calls input method. X is a variable. I have taken X value and assigned it to a macro variable. So conclusion point is by using calls input method, we can derive the macro variable inside the data step. We can take the value from my data step and assign it to macro variable. That is called calls input. What is the difference between percentage let and calls input? When we check the percentage let, always we have to derive the macro variable by using percentage let statement outside the data step only, not for inside the data step. If you want to derive any macro variable inside the data step, we have only one statement, and that is called calls input. Here as of now, anybody, any doubt or clear? Please.
Sir.
Yes, please.
Can we create a more than one macro variable in a data set?
Yes, we can create more than one macro variable also. I will let you know. Okay. So here data AP input ID age is there, cards 101 11, 102 12, 103 13, 104 14, 105 15. So now you can see here what is my dataset name here. My dataset name is the AP.
Okay.
Now data underscore null underscore the set AP. Here my dataset name is the AP. That is the input dataset here I am using. Now calls input directly I am using. Open one parenthesis. Inside this parenthesis I am using. Okay. So here what is my macro variable? What is my argument here?
Image is a
Image is a macro variable, age is a argument only. Now if I am submitting a percentage put ampersand image, so what is the value? We can see it in my output window. What is my question? Anybody?
11, 12, 13.
You means all values we can assign it to one single macro variable, correct?
Yes.
So in the above, just please compare the above one and below one. Here, concentrate on this. X value is only one or more than one?
Only one value.
Only one variable. Here, gender also only one or more than one gender value? Only one, right?
M
M is one. But here, I am assigning the age. Assign the whether we are assigning to all 5 values to single macro variable or only one value. So that is my question. Okay, now I am submitting this one. So what is the first stage value? What is the last stage value here?
11, 15.
First is 11, last is a 15. When I submitted, now go to this one. Ampersand image value, we are displaying 11 or 15?
15.
15. So by default, we can assign the last variable value to our macro variable when we use the calls input method. When we use the calls input method, by default we can assign the last row value. We can assign it to macro variable. Here age value is a 15, so we can assign it to image only. Then when we printed ampersand image, we can see the 15 age value here. Here or here, but I need all age values. Can we assign the all age values, all 5 age values to one macro variable? So that is not possible by using calls input method. At a time, we cannot assign it to all more than one value to one macro variable by using calls input. So here I am using calls input method. At a time, we can assign the single value to single macro variable. Single value means age is my macro variable. Age only, last value only, we can assign it to our macro variable, but not all values. Now here I am printing proc print data is equal to SAS help.class, then run it. When I am submitting this one, you can see it in your results window. Concentrate on age only from 14 to 15, totally 19 observations are there. First one is a first stage value is a 14, last stage value is a 15 here. Now here underscore null underscore. Okay, now set SAS help.class. This is my input data set now. Calls input. Open one parenthesis. Here m height, HEI, GHT, m height, comma, height only, height. So then run it here. In my output window, you can see the height values also. Totally 19 height values are there. First one is a 69.0. Last one is a 66.5. You can see the first one is a 69. Last one is a 66.5. Now here if I am submitting m height macro variable in my log window, what is the value? We can see it, anybody.
69 point.
So you can see this here. What is the exact value? 69 or 66.5. You are saying last height value, correct?
Yes.
Now I am submitting this one. When I submitted, go to log window. Now you can see what is the value we are displaying. 60.
66.5.
So conclusion point is, when we are assigning the any variable name to macro variable, okay, our variable values are more than one record. Totally 10 records or 15 records or 100 records. By default, we can assign the last value to our macro variable only. Last value. Clear my point? Or anybody any doubt here as of now?
Clear.
Clear? Now here my question is, I want to derive the macro variables each and every record wise. So here by using false input method, we cannot assign the all values to one macro variable. Please make a note. But we can create totally in my data set how many variables, how many age values are there? 5 rows are there. So we can create each and every row wise one macro variable. Then how many macro variable we can create it here by using false input method here? Totally 5 macro variables, because we have 5 rows are there. Then we can create the 5 macro variables. If we have 19 rows, then we can create the 19 macro variables only. Now here, okay, now see, anybody any idea? So data, so AV is my data set, AV. Now f name is equal to, okay, f name is equal to stances, okay, stances. M name is equal to solutions, solutions. Last name is equal to limited, LTD. Now my question for everybody, I want to join these 3 columns at a time. In my output window, I need stances solutions limited only. How can we do that?
Cat we can use.
Sorry? Cat. Other than the cat, do we have any other?
Double pipes.
Then tell me syntax. Name is equal to?
Name is equal to cat of f name comma m name comma.
I don't want cat here. I need
Okay,
all
okay.
symbols. Then
F name double pipes.
F name double pipe. Next, M name.
M name.
M name double pipe. Next,
L name.
L name. Okay. Then what is the value? We can see it in my output window. Name is a stances solutions limited only. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now when I am submitting this one, okay, I want to print also. If you want to print, print data is equal to AV, then run it only. Now when I am submitting this one, you can see here stances solutions limited only. Okay, we have joined because by default 8 bytes. Okay, we have joined it. So that's the reason there is no space here. If you want space, then please use here. Not
Double pipes.
so give one space only, then again double quotes like this one. Clear my point here? Okay, in between I have given which one?
Space.
Space. This is we discussed, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That's that.
Okay, yeah. Now I am submitting this one. Now you can see the space is there like this. What are the automatic variables in SAS here? This is also we have discussed in our yesterday class. Anybody? What are the
Underscore error.
underscore error underscore? Next one is it?
Underscore null underscore.
Underscore null underscore or underscore n underscore? Underscore n underscore. Okay, so here I am giving row is equal, okay, row is equal, otherwise value is equal, underscore n underscore, then run it. Dot print data is equal, my data set name is a AP1, run it. So in my AP data set, you can see the, how many columns are there AP data set totally? 2 columns, one is a, second one is a age. But I am deriving the one more column in my AP1 data set. What is that column name here? Anybody? What is the
Value.
value. So what is the values? We can see it in my output window. Value is a new column. Instead of the
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the mean of underscore n underscore here? To specify the line number. Okay. So we underscore n underscore is nothing but each and every row wise one number we can assign it to value. So first row wise our number is a 1, second row wise number is a 2, third row wise number is a 3. So underscore n underscore is nothing but it says the line number. If you want to see the line numbers, now here I am creating value is equal to underscore n underscore. Underscore n underscore is nothing but it is a one variable, that is the automatic variable. Those variable values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, numbers. Now if I am submitting this one, value is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because underscore n underscore always it represent the row numbers. Okay, each and every row is one unique number. Now if I am submitting data class 1, set SAS helper.class, then semicolon. So here I am giving number is equal to, okay, underscore n underscore. So in my SAS helper.class, how many variables? If I am submitting class 1 data set, how many variables? We can see it in my output window. Anybody?
7.
First, in my set statement, how many SAS helper.class? What are the variables? Count. I mean, how many variables are there totally?
Name, age, sex,
Height,
weight.
Only 5 variables, correct?
5, sir. Yes, sir.
So what about in my class 1 data set? How many variables we can see?
The variable is number.
What is the number values we can see it in my output window?
1, 2, 3, and so 19.
1, 2, 3, so on, so 19 only. Okay. So finally, what is mean by underscore n underscore? We can assign the series 1 to 19 only. Okay. Just we can add the each and every row wise one number. Totally 19 rows are there. We can see the 1 to 19 rows only, numbers only. Clear my point here, underscore n underscore. So when it will be useful means if you want to create any number of rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, any, I want to create the one sequence number in my data set only. Then we can use underscore n underscore. By using underscore n underscore, we can create the sequence number related columns also. That values we can see the 1 to increasing 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay. This is our underscore n underscore. Why I have explained this one means I will let you know now. So in my by using calls input method, already I said that at a time we can assign the one value only one value. But here see this data underscore null underscore set AP. Okay, AP is my data set, AP only. Now here call import, open one parenthesis. Now use your macro variable name, that is a VH, comma, okay, age only. Then what is the VH value here? What is the value we can see? Percentage 15 only. But I need VH1, VH2, VH3, VH4, VH5. Then how can we print the totally? Here, instead of the VH, I need totally 5 rows are there. At a time, I want to derive the 5 macro variables. In my data set, 19 rows are there. At a time, I want to derive the 19 macro variables. Okay, first macro variable is a VH1 only. Second macro variable is a VH2. If I am printing ampersand VH4, then I want to display the 14 only. If I am printing ampersand VH5, then I want to print the 15 only, like that. So VH is my macro variable. Then please concatenate this macro variable to your automatic variable. So what is my automatic variable for sequence number wise? Underscore error or underscore n underscore? For sequence number. Underscore please concatenate underscore n underscore automatic variable to my macro variable. In between we have to use which symbol here? Anybody? Pipe symbol. Then what is our next column here? Underscore n underscore. Okay, but in Excel sheet, anybody, if you type it, if you write it number, which spaces we can see it here? Leading blank spaces or trailing blank spaces? Numbers. If we write the any text, which blank spaces we can see it? In the Excel sheet I am saying. Right now, if I am submitting this one, we can see the 5 errors only. 5 errors. You can see here. Variable VH space 1 is there. VH space 2 is there. VH space 3 is there. VH space 4 is there. VH space 5 is there. This is a number. Number prefix with the if any. Other one is an automatic variable. I am joining these two. But while joining, we are seeing some spaces. These spaces are called leading blank spaces. Then anybody just let me know how to remove the leading blank spaces in SAS here?
Trim.
Trim is used for not leading blank space.
Compress.
Yes, you can use compress only to remove the leading, trailing, embedded. Now here I am using which function? Compressor of underscore n. Now if I am submitting percentage put VH1, then again percentage put VH2, VH3, VH4, VH. You can write it ampersand VH1 space ampersand VH2 space ampersand VH5 like that also. Now if I am submitting this one, now you can see here. So go for these values. VH1 is 11. VH2 is a 12, VH4 is a 14, VH5 is a 15 only. So we have created 5 variables, macro variables. Each and every macro variable wise, we are printing one value only. So now I need same thing. This is my SAS help class only. Totally we have 19 rows are there, 19 rows. Now I need 19 macro variables only. 19 macro variables. For example, go for height only. I need height 1, height 2, height 3, height 4. Totally how many? 19 height macro variables I need. Then so this is m height. M height means only we are creating the last height values. We are assigning to m height only. But I don't want the last height values. I need each and every height value wise one macro variable. Then how can we do that here? We have to use here which one?
Underscore.
Again underscore pipe symbol.
Next symbol compressor underscore n underscore.
Compressor underscore n underscore. This MIT3 65.3. You can see MIT2 56.5, MIT3 65.3. Totally we can see the all macro variables whatever we have created till now. By using underscore user underscore, we can display it all values in my log window. So here 2 questions. What is the difference with 3 questions? First question is what is the difference between percentage let and calls input? That is the first question. Second question is how to derive the macro variable inside the data step. That is the second question. Third question is nothing but how to derive the macro variables each and every record wise by using calls input method. In that scenario, we have to use two pipe symbols and we have to use compressor underscore in underscore function we have to use it. So this is our calls input method. Anybody, any doubt, please let me know. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I will go for second one. As of now, we have discussed the percentage let statement and calls input method also. Next one is this sim get only. Okay. I will explain the sim get. So what is the purpose of sim get? Okay. Sim get is nothing but this is not useful for creation of the macro variable. Okay, this sim get useful is a different here. This is not useful of creation of the macro variable. By using percentage let, we can derive the macro variable. By using calls input method, we can derive the macro variable, but not for sim get. Then what is the purpose of sim get? Okay, now here just so see this. So here, this is a data step only. This is a macro variable only. So what is mean by calls input? Input is nothing but see this, we can take the value from data step and assign it to a which one? Yeah, macro variable only. See this here, arrow mark. So please take the any value from your data step and assign it to a which variable? Macro variable. Okay, as of now, see this. This is my code. I have taken the height variable from my data step, assign it to a macro variable. This is called calls input only. But sim get is nothing but vice versa, reverse order. Get the value from macro variable, assign it to a data step only. We can get the value from macro variable, assign it to a data step. Okay, so get the value from which variable? Macro variable. Okay. Now here data, now I am creating data AK is my data set name only. Now here, if you go for this one, for example, first I have created y is my macro variable. What is the y value here? Anybody? What is the y value here? 12 only. I have created one more macro variable gender also. What is the gender value? M only. Now here I want to assign. So see this here. A is equal to
Equal 12 M.
A is a 12.
B is also 12.
B is also 12. C is
M.
Yeah.
B is
M.
M. Now I am submitting this one. Let's see whether there is a correct or incorrect. 12, M and M only. Okay. So we can assign the macro variable values also. We can assign it to data step. So directly you can assign the ampersand y. A is and y. It works totally. Otherwise, by using sim get of your macro variable name inside the single quotes only. So we have to use always macro variable name inside the single quotes here by using sim get. This is a one more. Okay. So here then what is the difference between A and B? A and B, that is a question. Now what is my data set name? AK. Go to libraries, go to work library. Now I want to check the attributes only. Type, length, informat and format. By using which procedure we can display it attributes in my output window? Anybody? Any idea? I want to print my dataset attributes only. Then how can we display it? Have we discussed the prop condense procedure? Anybody, any idea? Prop condense?
Yes, sir. Prop contains data is
Alphabetic list of variables and attributes, variables in creation order. We have this.
var num.
Okay, fine. This is a AK. Okay, now AK, right click, view columns only. Now you can see one is a 8, other one is a 200 only. So by using simget, whatever variables we have created, I have created B variable, I have created D variable by using which one? Simget only. So when we create any variable by using simget, by default it will be occupy the how many bytes here? Total length is 200. This is also one interview question. If we assign the any value by using simget, what is the default length? We can see it. So default length is a 200 only. So by default, if we assigning any value to our variable, then we can see it 200 length only. Don't forget that one. Remaining whatever value length is there, we can display that length only by using this category. A is equal to ampersand y, C is equal to ampersand gender. So whatever exact length is there, we can assign the same length only. But when we use the simget, okay, by default each and every variable, it will be occupy the 200 length. So conclusion point is, what is the difference between simput and simget? Anybody, any idea? Simput, call simput and simget. Call simput is nothing but we can take the
Create the macro variable in a data set.
data set to macro variable, that is a which one? Calls input and simget.
Calls input.
Data set to macro variable calls input. What about macro variable to data set?
Simget.
Simget only. If we created any variable by using calls input, if we create any variable by using simget, what is the default length?
200.
200. Okay, and this is now. Shall I go for next one or shall I stop it?
Yes, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay, then I will go for next one. That is a calls input X only. This is also I will complete today. So calls input and calls input X both are same only syntax wise. There is no difference here. Okay. So here now this is a now I am adding calls input X. I am adding calls input X. Then what is the difference between calls input and calls input X? Now I will go for same example. I will repeat now. Okay, now here you can see the second example. This is also one interview question. What is the difference between calls input and simput X only? Okay, interview question. They will ask it in the interview. Now here I am not executing inside the data step. Okay, now you can see here this is a calls input, first one. Now I am copying and I have pasted here. Okay, pasted here only. Okay, now you can see here this is a calls input X. Now Z. Now that is a Y, this is a Z only. Okay, now here I am submitting this one. Now you can see here. Now I am submitting put. You can see here. What is the y value here? You can see it here. What is the y value here?
12.
Right? 12. So here by using calls input x, I am creating one macro variable. What is that macro variable here?
Z.
Z. So what is the Z value if I am using percentage put ampersand Z?
12.
Okay, now I am submitting this one. When I submit it, go to log window. You can see here Z is equal to 12. Now both are same in this situation. In this scenario, both are same only. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now here, exactly. Now here I am. For better understanding, I am adding one star symbol here, one star symbol here. So here also I am adding one star symbol, here also one star symbol. Just for classroom training, I am adding this star symbol. This is not required in your real-time scenario. Now here you can see calls input again I am executing. Anybody check it and let me know. Is there any spaces for our value?
It's a leading space.
The leading spaces only. You can see these are the leading spaces only. By using calls input as input x.
Input.
Input. Now I am submitting calls input x z macro variable. Is there any spaces? You can see and let me know.
No, sir.
No, there is no spaces. You can see here there is no spaces. By using calls input x, there is no spaces only. But by using calls input, what are the spaces for numeric variable? Leading or trailing? Leading. Leading. Now we can use here. What is our? This is a function. X is my variable. On top of this x variable, we can use which function? What is our function? Compress function. If I am using compress function, we can remove the leading spaces or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now if I am submitting this one, go to log window. Now is there any spaces here? No? Yes or no? No, right?
No space, sir.
No spaces. Now both are same or different? Calls input and input x in that scenario.
Yeah, both same. Sir.
Both same. But extra in calls input method, I use the which function? Compress function.
Compress.
But this is not required for which statement? Calls input x only. So by default, what is the difference between calls input and input x here? By using calls input method, we cannot remove the leading blank space for numeric variable, numeric macro variables. But when we create any macro variable by using calls input x, we can remove the leading blank spaces or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now go for character variable. Go for character. Now here I am using length. Here x is equal to m only. X is equal to m. Fine. Now here by default I am giving length also. length length x dollar. Okay, I have given 6 only. 6, just assume 6. Otherwise, you can give 8 also. Okay, now x variable, x length is a 8 actually. Now here I am assigning the, which variable I am assigning to my gender macro variable here? Anybody? Which variable I am assigning to gender macro variable? Variable.
X variable.
X. What is the x value?
M.
M. Now I am submitting calls input and input x both, right? First one is a which calls input. What is the your macro variable name?
Gender.
By using calls input x, what is your macro variable name?
M gender.
M gender. Now I am assigning. Okay, I am executing this one. Go to log window. You can see gender value is a m only. M. But here, but better understanding, I am adding one star symbol. Here also I am adding one star symbol. Then please submit this one. when I submitted, go to log window, is there any spaces here?
Trailing space.
Trailing places only. Totally, what is the X variable length? 2 bytes or 3 bytes or 4 bytes?
8, sir.
8. So this is M is only 1 byte. Remaining 7 bytes,
7 bytes.
trailing blank spaces only. By using which method? Calls input or input X?
Input concept.
Now I am executing calls input X only, that is a M gender. So here also for better understanding I am adding the 2 star symbols. When I am submitting this one, you can see it in your log window. Is there any spaces for M value?
No.
No. We have removed. Now just let me know what is the difference between calls input and input X. By using calls input, we can see the leading and which blank spaces? Trailing blank spaces.
Trailing blank.
But by using calls input X, by default we can remove the leading and trailing blank spaces. The leading and trailing blank spaces for the macro variable only. So then think it and let me know always which one is good for us, calls input or input X.
Input X.
Input X only. If you go for input also useful only, but input we used before 9.2 version. In the 9.2 version, they introduced the latest statement, that is a calls input X only. By using calls input X, we can remove the leading and trailing blank spaces at a time. So that's the reason. In calls input also, we can remove it, but we have to use extra functions. Compressor functions only. Please remove first spaces, then assign it your values to macro variable. That is a lengthy process. So here inbuilt, compress is inbuilt. No need to use any functions. By default, we can remove the leading and trailing blank spaces by using calls input X. So as of now, anybody, any doubt here? Calls input and input X, please let me know. Yes, please.
Clear, sir.
Now I will go for calls input. Again, one more difference is there. This is also very, very important difference. Calls input I am submitting. When I am submitting calls input method, actually compress function is a character function or numeric function. Anybody, any idea? Character only. But X is equal to 12. This is a numerical character. X is equal to 12. X is a numeric. But why we are using numeric value wise compress function here? Actually, numeric columns wise compress it won't work, because when we use compress function, only it works for character variables. But in this scenario, compress it is working inside the calls input method. When I am submitting, go to log window. You can see one note information. What is that note information here? You can see here. This is a 187 line. We are using the compress function 187. You can see here numeric values have been converted to character value at the place given by line and column. So what is the line? Line is a 187, column is a 26 column, that is a X column. Okay, so in 187 line, numeric values have been converted to character. Numeric values means X is a numeric variable. By default, it will be converted into character when we use the calls input method. Okay, this extra note, we can see it in the log window. Numeric values, please make a note. This is also, they will ask in the interview. So routine, everybody, they will answer. What is the difference between calls input and input X means? We can remove the by default leading and trailing blank spaces. That is a routine answer, everybody can say. But second is a very limited members. In your log window, you can see the one extra note information. When we use the calls input method, numeric values have been converted to character values at the place given by. Okay, by default, this extra note also, we can see it in the log window. Now I am submitting calls input X only. When I am submitting, go to log window. Is there any note information here? Anybody? No. No. So when we use the calls input X, we cannot see the any extra note information in the log window. But when we use calls input method, extra we can see the one extra note information. So numeric values have been converted to character at the place given by that extra note. We can see it in the log window. This is all the second difference only. This node we can see it for only calls input method, not for calls input. Or anybody any doubt here, please? This is a calls input and input X here. By using calls input X also, you can derive the more than one macro variable each and every record wise. So that purpose, as usual, we have to use here pipe symbols, compress of underscore n underscore. This it works for even calls input X also. Okay, by using calls input or calls input X, we can derive macro variable. That macro variable value is only one value, argument value. We can assign it to a macro variable. I want to each and every record wise, each and every row wise, one macro variable. Then again we have to use calls input, second syntax, two pipe symbols, compress of underscore n underscore. That is an automatic variable. But we cannot assign the all 19 values to one single macro variable in calls input method. Okay, so this is our today's class. Percentage let is over, calls input X, sim get is over. Anybody, any doubt, just let me know. We'll discuss remaining part, and I will take which one? Proc report and proc tablet. I am cancelling. I will take macros. I will complete only for your batch, 7 p.m. batch. Macros I will complete end to end, which Saturday and Sunday. So I will take proc report and proc tablet other weekend only, because 7 p.m. is a very crucial time for me. Okay, very important time for me. I want to complete this weekend only for entire macros. Only procedures, that is a proc report and tablet written statement, I will cover and next weekend. Otherwise, if you have, everybody is okay, morning 9 to 11 also, I will take 2 hours. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, your wish. I am free. Morning 9 to 11 also. But somebody they are working, right? So that's the reason I will go for weekends only, not for 7 p.m. Only pending item is after this weekend. Saturday, Sunday I will go for morning session here. Morning only 2 hours class.